Hey guys, Brian with Wrenches and Rides. We're going to take a look at some tools from Olsa Tools, a Canadian company that's probably most well known for toolbox organization, but they're also making hand tools. These hand tools are made in Taiwan. These are ratcheting wrenches, and they have a direction change that's a little bit different than what most people would be used to. Now they're a standard looking ratcheting wrench. You have your 15-degree sweep. You have a nice 90 tooth inside here, so you got about a 4-degree arc-ish. We're going to take some measurements up, go over these tools front to back, but first I want to show you how they work because they are a little bit different in their direction change. There's a stamped end here that says push forward. So to use this wrench, put it on the bolt, whatever direction you want to turn, you push and go that direction, right? So then we can tighten. If we want to loosen, we push and loosen. These bolts are really rusty, but it's a great place to do a little bit of a demonstration, and we broke it. Back at the next one, right? We are set here for loosening. If we wanted to tighten, push this in, push and turn the way we'd like to tighten. We broke that one too. It's pretty easy to use. Okay, well, I think you get the gist of it there. It sucked that both the bolts broke. So if we put this on, we are currently tightening. But if we want to loosen, we push in and go towards the tightening. You can hear a little click and you can also feel the resistance. So it's now ratcheting in that way, and we can take these bolts off. Now, to go the other way, it helps if the bolt is a little bit tight. We put this on, push in, and go towards tightening, and there we are. So your question is, can this screw up while you are loosening or tightening and flip directions on you? Not with smaller bolts, it doesn't seem to happen. But I did have it happen when I was working on some of the fenders, and it just takes a little bit more getting used to. Instead of not looking at where you apply the pressure when you're removing or fastening a nut really fast, you sort of pull back on the wrench slightly to make sure it doesn't happen. And that's part of getting used to this style wrench. So that's how they work. Now, why do they work that way? Now, this is innovation where we're trying to get better, trying to make tools work with one hand so you can change direction without having to do that while you're in the middle of something. Or better yet, for some people who don't always have the clockwise and counterclockwise tightening or loosening factor down, and you realize you're going in the wrong direction and your wrench is way up in there in a tight place, you don't have to remove it to come out and switch things over or slide your finger down and try to get at the switch. But realistically, my opinion is if you have a flat type, now this one is angled, but if you have a flat type ratchet wrench, you don't have to flip it over to change directions. It just takes one step out where you just make the push, go in the direction you want. Life's good, right? So if you like this or don't like it, Ulsa does have another type of ratcheting wrench out there with your 6 corners. This has the 12 point on the inside. I know a lot of people like to stay away from this. I get it. It all depends on what you're using it for. I don't use these to break bolts loose, but if you do have a lot of rusty, nasty bolts, you might more get into this 6-point style because it'll grab a little bit easier if you have a rusted or rounded over bolt. La-da-da-da-da, right? These are ratcheting wrenches. Let's get back, come in, take a look at what they have for features, and let's test out some sizing. So this kit goes from 8mm to 19mm. Don't miss a beat in between, you have every one. We're gonna pull out the 19mm and show you, hopefully on here, that you can see you have the stamped 19 at the opened end. You have a push signal telling you what to do with this tool left and right, which I'm not really sure we need that stamped in there, but otherwise pretty nice. Chrome finish is good. On the back, they remind you what these tools are made of. The warranty on these is lifetime, but I want you to go to the blog and I'm going to point you to the direction to read more about this lifetime. It's against tool defects and things like that. Just something worth reading. You have 19 stamped on the front and back. The feel of these is good. The corners and the polished is awesome. Everything in here seems like it's well taken care of and well built for something that is $99 for this set. Now, let's have some fun and see what this guy is. Sorry, you're gonna have to read upside down here. 19 millimeter, 19.19. Let's pull out our gear wrench. 19.14. Let me see if I can get back in here. Maybe 19.15. Take a look at our Tecton. $19.25. So definitely better than the Tecton by a long shot, not too far away from the gear wrench as far as quality. And we have a 13 here. When I say quality, I'm talking about the sizing of this end. And I think it's important to get at least close. You're gonna always be over by a portion because you want it to go over the nut, and the nut or bolts are gonna have sizing differences. So here's 13.18. Grab a gear wrench. 13.13. So there is a difference. I think that could be done in quality at the factory, what they believe they should have their wrenches to. But you get much larger than this and you start to get a sloppy fit, and sloppy fit isn't what any of us want. So if you guys think I'm crazy pulling out the calipers and measuring wrenches, I understand. But while you're working with these tools on a daily basis and you start to see a bolt that's loose inside a wrench, or you get to a point where you're like, what the hell's going on? Because these wrenches do not get more tight over time, right? They only wear a little bit, the chrome comes off, they get a little bit more loose. So it's important to me to know what's happening with the wrenches and what the quality and tolerance is that I'm using. These don't seem too bad. Obviously the gear wrench is a little bit tighter. I think that's a little bit more expensive tool, but at the same point, we're looking at these as something that's a little bit different, and I think they're very interesting. This tool takes about 5 minutes of use to really get in the groove on and use. And once you get the groove with it, it works well. The one thing that I can say is in really tight places, if you do happen to have it switch directions on you when you're not wanting it to, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt, especially if you're just at the point of getting the bolt completely tight and you have to push it in and loosen it a little bit in order to get back to push in and tighten a little bit. It sounds weird, but it's just kind of the process that you have to go through. Now, ratchet wrenches, no matter what style we get, will sometimes just accidentally flip, especially if you have this little switch down here and you're trying to get this in a tight area in the engine bay. It just happens. So no matter what way you go here, I don't know that there is a wrong way. This is definitely something that is different and well worth looking at. The question in my mind is, will you buy them? And that's really what I'd like to know in this. They are definitely something that are going to be in my toolbox, along with a lot of the Ulsa organizers. I really like having an organized toolbox. Will I use the organizer that comes with this kit? I'm not sure. The handle on top is definitely made to be cut off. This is a very rubbery type holder. I'm not sure that this is what I'm looking for, but it does give me the option to throw it in there and carry it around with me. They won't fall out. And I think that's what you'd want for carrying, maybe not what you want for in a toolbox, at least in my opinion. They do have different options that you can buy off their website, and again, we'll put those links down in the bottom. It's very interesting. Tell me what you think. Very curious. I like that they're made in Taiwan, not in China. I wish they were made in the USA or Canada. Obviously not happening. They'd probably be a lot more expensive. I do like some of the other options that they have on their website. The other ones that are 100 tooth that have the 6-point closed or boxed end, I think I'm going to try them out. The other thing I'd like to try out is the warranty on these. If you read a little about it, it's interesting. They say lifetime warranty, and then when you get over to their shipping and returns page, it's a little bit different, but I do believe that's just a way of them explaining what's going on to try to be very clear, which then makes me overthink it. Either way, guys, always appreciate that like, always appreciate your comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll bring a lot more of this style of video to you. As always, hope you're having a great day.